Welcome to On Air with LG, brought to you by LG Electronics European Air Solution Team. We know that in today's digital world, time is limited, attention is short, and everyone is busier than ever. That's why we're bringing the HVAC industry's hottest topics on air, where you can both learn and be inspired on the go. Join us for a new episode every 2 weeks, where we answer your most pressing questions and explore the constantly shifting world of HVAC topics like the energy transition, renewable innovation, and the past, present, and incredibly bright future that our industry has to offer to both our lifetime achievers as well as the next generation of professionals. I'm Melissa Moeller, your host throughout this series, and I hope you enjoy. This session's topic will be Shaping the Shift, the commercial energy transition. I will be joined today by the LG Business Solutions European Sales Manager, Terry Tang. He comes to us today with a cool vision of the energy transition's future and how he's helping commercial business partners make it a smooth one. His mantra, making complicated things simple. And he brings that same idea into his work life, always hungry to learn new things from his ever-growing network. Leveraging the technology at our fingertips, Terry operates as a true digital native. Hi, Terry. It's good to have you here with us today.
Hi, Melissa.
So, what qualifies you to have this conversation with us? Where are you coming to us within LG? And can you just describe a little bit about your background with the company and who you are?
Sure. Well, it's a tricky question to ask it this way, but I would say that I have experience in the sales area. I have done many jobs in the sales area and most likely in the technical area also. And in the HVAC, I'm evaluating in the HVAC industry since more than 10 years now. I have done lots of jobs, could be from the sales to the managing some sales with people, projecting managers, and also working with key accounts. And more recently, I would say that I have specialized myself more into making things easy for complicated topics. And I think it's fascinating because a lot of people are working in the industry, a lot of people are interested in it, and sometimes some people have to be there to orchestrate everything, and to make sure that everyone can understand it.
Sure.
And this is what I'm trying to do in my job internally and externally.
Yeah. And so I understand you're coming to us from LG Business Solutions Department. So could you give us a brief overview of exactly what it means to be in LG Business Solutions?
Indeed. We need to talk about this because LG Electronics, it's a big company.
Oh, yeah.
It's acting on many areas, many solutions. And when we talk about business solutions, it's all the products who are dedicated to the business area.
Yeah.
When we talk about this, we have many kind of expertise. In all the countries, we have one office with multiple teams who are dedicated to each of the expertise. If I talk about what I do at the business solutions, we can talk about digital area because we do displays, we do monitors, we do PC, so we can help to equip on daily equipments on this. We can also cover the digital transformation and the topics which we are more going to talk about today. The first one would be energy and production. So that means that we can help also because we do manufacture one of the best solar panels in the market. And we also do some storage of energy through batteries. Yeah. And the topic of today, HVAC, where we have a team also. We have some people who are really qualified to do this. We are one of the main global supplier worldwide. Yeah. And we are working with customers all around the world. We have international agreements, all kind of organization that you can expect from a serious supplier.
Yeah. So one of the topics that is touching the HVAC industry and really the industry, business solution industry, as you described overall, is the energy transition. And especially in Europe, the regulations surrounding this topic are really trending, and it's really in the interest of manufacturers like LG as well as the business customers to understand them fully. So could you briefly explain to us like what the energy transition is in a simple way and like what people really need to understand about it?
I will try. When we talk about energy transition, like you said earlier, it's a wide topic. A lot of people are using it. Sometimes we talk about greenwashing.
Oh yeah.
But if you want to make it very simple, let's take a few facts. The IPCC has defined that we have to limit our global warming by 2 degrees by the end of this century. This is the challenge that we are all facing all around us as organizations, our governments, and as us individuals. So we all have an impact on this. So that means that from the Paris Agreement in 2015, all the countries around the world have agreed that by the horizon of 2050, we would need to decrease our consumption and our carbon emission, and we want to be carbon neutral. This is one huge topic already. And then at the regional level, so in European Commission, all the countries who are members of the European Commission have agreed on what they call the Green Deal. And the Green Deal, it's a step in between today and 2050, so it's 2030. And the result expected from that is very simple. It's minus 55% of CO2 emission compared to 1990 levels.
Okay.
So it's a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge because it means that for everyone, we need to find new way to produce the energy. So this is where LG we can help with our solar panels, for example. And also it means a lot of optimization, because that means that all the buildings who are already existing, all the real estate, residential, non-residential, everything, we have to decrease it currently. So we need to optimize all these buildings who are existing. So this is the challenge that we are facing.
So it's really about both renovations and new builds.
Yes, I would say it's mostly about renovation. Because the new builds, it's a small part of it. We now have the legislation, but the energy legislation has risen. This topic has risen after the 80s. Before that, nothing was happening. Nothing was regulated. So from there on, we had a few more and more challenge, but I think the biggest work is there. So this is where we have to do something.
Sure. And how does the transition affect organizations and really their technical departments?
Well, when we go back to what we said earlier, the Green Deal, it breaks down into countries. And then the countries have to stimulate the organization. Either it can be by strategic plans, either it can be by obligation of results. If we go to some countries in Europe, some countries like France, for example, has already some obligation of results. We call it the décret tertiaire. So that means that for all the companies, all the commercial buildings who are more than 1,000 square meters, you need to decrease. It's an obligation to decrease by 40 to 50% by the horizon of 2030 your consumption. So that means that every year you have to publish and you have to show to everyone what you have put in place in order to reach this. And also there are sanctions, and there is a kind of name and shame website to show the people who do not comply with this obligation. But I think that from time to time, more we are going into the time, all the countries will do this, and everybody will have to do this. This is the challenge.
It's the way forward, and it's the only way forward.
Yes, and if you talk about the link with today, because we are talking about HVAC, HVAC, it's a huge topic also in the building. Whether it will be in the residential or not residential, non-residential buildings, it always represents something around 20 to 45% of the consumptions.
Unavoidable.
Yes, it's unavoidable. You can't do it in another way. I was reading an interview the other day on the association website, REVA, on the HVAC association, and they were talking about more than 36% of the CO2 emission coming from the HVAC in all the buildings. So there is a huge potential of optimization there.
So then, do you have a feeling that the community knows enough about the energy transition to really act on it, or is that more about manufacturers like LG and other industry experts to, like, whose obligation is it to actually inform the customer, the business people that are actually changing the commercial spaces and doing the renovations?
I think this is why it's a challenge and why it's tricky, because it's such a trendy topic, that everyone is talking about it. And this is what we are trying to do here at LG. We try to be here before the projects, after the projects, on the long run, and we try to share common goals with our customers. But with this legislation coming up, with all these obligations coming up, a lot of companies are raising, a lot of companies are coming and to visit and to propose new stuff. But I think this is where the challenge is for the customers, for the technical departments, to find partners for the long run, who share the common goals, who who really understand the topic.
Yeah. So then, in considering the customer, the business customer, how should their technical departments approach these projects? Like, what should be sort of, let's say, a few steps?
Well, I think that they already do because there are a lot of norms and regulation, legislation who are coming up. We have, for example, all the ISO audit norms who are coming up to help them on that. And after that, I think it's really simple. Basically, I think all the technical departments have to know their real estate. They need to know what do they have in their portfolio.
Sure.
And then they need to classify them to put, let's say, the bad students, the bad portfolio real estate, the ones who consumes too much in terms of energy, the ones who are in the average, and the ones who are good. By doing this, you can know which one you have to prioritize.
Right. Where to start.
Yes, where to start. And then this is the third part, and this is where we're coming in. They need to find the right partners who will be there on the long run, who will be there before, meanwhile, and after the project.
Sure.
Who will be there for the project they have done 5 years ago, and what are the projects to become for the 5 next years. People who are connected in the industry, who are well-known, recognized, and have a good network. So I think by doing these 3 steps, it's the most sustainable way to do it.
Yeah. So do you have a feeling that the customers are seeking out partners like LG, or LG needs to seek out those customers and say, we can help you with this type of technical support, with this type of work, the energy transition work?
I think that's a great question. That's a great question because it's not an easy one to answer, in a way that I think that in the past, suppliers such as LG, people who manufacture the products, were not so close to the technical departments.
Sure.
We're not so close to the customers itself. We were more closer to the channel, which we still do. But now we are adding a new channel where we are talking directly to the technical departments, and we think because there is a need in this way. We want to talk with them because we want to understand what they expect and how we can improve things. But I do believe that they have an interest also to speak with us because we are the ones who create the innovation. Because there is the legislation who is telling us where we need to go, and there are all the global suppliers, all the innovation partners who are providing the solutions to get there. So I think it's a both win-win situation to do this.
So if one of our listeners wants to get this support from you or within their organization, how can they get in touch with you?
Well,
what's the best way?
I think we have a great marketing team who has some good channels on the social media. For me personally, I would like to be in touch with people. Can be for network, can be for business reasons.
Sure.
I'm really interested. So my name is terry.tang @lge.com, and I think on LinkedIn my profile is terry.tang1.
Okay. Number one,
the digit, all glued.
All right. And our last question that we ask all of our guests on the show is really looking back in your career, what advice would you give to yourself as a 20-year-old?
Yes.
Maybe not an easy question.
No, not. And I like to think that at 20 years old, you don't really listen to others. But
fair enough.
If I was a listener, I would advise myself by what I've learned the past years and by my experience that, life is a never-ending challenge. It can be for personal reasons, can be for professional reasons, but a challenge follows another. Whenever we have achieved, you never feel like you have arrived, and you shouldn't feel like you want to arrive. You just have to enjoy the ride, because when we will finish this quarter, this year, this challenge, there will be another one who is coming. Maybe another one in another topic that you don't expect.
Right.
But there is always something to do. Let's just enjoy it.
Yeah, don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because
Exactly.
actually it shouldn't be a tunnel at all. Yeah, exactly. Just keep going, keep going. All right, Terry, thank you so much for being here with us today. And for our viewers, we hope you enjoyed the session and you learned something. And please make sure to tune in every 2 weeks on our podcast channel of your choice with On Air with LG. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.